What does that crown mean to you? Just what does that crown mean to you?
Basically, everything, especially because Zach has a crown too. I think it's more special than if he wouldn't have gotten King, because he's really special to me as my friend, and just the fact that everyone in our grade voted for us to represent them. I think that's why it means so much.
Zach
Hayes
has medical problems, Down syndrome, is that it?
Down syndrome, yeah.
But high-level functioning. He enjoys life.
A lot, yes. He's
Tell me.
the happiest person ever. If you're ever having a bad day, his dad always says this. He can't wait to come home from work, because the best part of his day is whenever he sees Zach and he gives him the biggest hug and just changes his day. And he can do that for anyone. He's just so happy all the time, and he really makes other people really happy too.
So you were the queen. He was the king. And that's kind of unusual that people would let that happen, isn't it?
Not really to me, because Zach's just another person. So, I mean, just like Connor Bowman was king last year, Zach's king this year. So, I mean, to me, it's not unusual, because he's just another person in our school as a senior.
Some of the kids had their doubts.
Yeah, a lot of people doubted Zach's abilities to learn the dance and to cooperate on prom night and perform, and he certainly proved them wrong. I posted on Facebook that he proved them wrong by not only doing perfect, but he did it with a crown on his head, which, I mean, he did better than me, because while I was dancing I was knocking mine off, and it was a mess, but he did awesome.
How long have you known Zach?
I've known Zach since I was 4. We played t-ball together, and then we went to kindergarten together all the way up until now, our senior year in high school.
He's special to you.
He's extremely special, yeah.
How so? What makes him special to you?
Like I said, he's just an amazing person, and he can always change your day, and I don't know, he's just always been a big part of my life. I just love being around him.
Well, this wasn't the first time you've gone to prom with Zach, is it?
No, I went to prom with him last year.
And how'd that work out?
He was the best prom date I could have asked for. I talked to his dad and just kind of said, you know, I think me and Zach should go to prom together, because he didn't have a prom date and neither did I. And it ended up working out so great. The best part of my whole night was whenever we walked into the school and he was waving at all the people, and even though we were juniors, he was definitely the king of that night. No offense to Connor Bowman, but he stole the show, certainly, because that's what everyone talked about.
Well, can't you get a date? Huh?
I would hope so, but I just think Zach was the best choice for me.
Ever any doubts? Ever any doubts?
Of Zach?
Yeah.
I would be lying if I said no, because Zach is such a ladies' man that during practices he would want to dance with the other girls, because, they're pretty ladies, who wouldn't want to dance with them? Of course Zach wanted to, and so I was worried that on prom night he was going to want to see all these beautiful girls in their dresses all did up, and I was like, he's going to want to dance with them, and I kind of worried about that, but he certainly did outstanding.
Well, your background and your career goals. Well, explain a little bit here. Tell us about that.
Well, I've been helping Zach with Special Olympics for a couple of years now. I started out as like a volunteer, but last year his dad mentioned me as a coach, and so that was extremely awesome to me. And now I go to school with some kids that need sign language, and I've always been in love with that, and so I want to go to college to be a speech language pathologist, but also somehow play in special education, and so I can work those together.
Speech pathologist, explain that just a little bit.
I don't know a lot of details, but I just know that you get to work with kids who are hard hearing or deaf, and so you get to use sign language in that. And those kids are considered special needs too, and those are the kids that really touch my heart most, and that's kind of why I wanted to do that.
And you want to blend speech pathology with
Special education.
Is that done anywhere? Do you know?
I have no idea, but I'm going to try.
Is that because you've known Zach for so long?
Yeah, I think just being around him and knowing how he makes me feel makes me want to work with other people like him, because a lot of people doubt his abilities, and like I said earlier, to me he's just another person, and some people don't see him as just another person. They see him as somebody with something wrong with him, and I think that by seeing him as just like me, it's easier to work with him over somebody who sees him with something wrong with him.
Our family's dealt with some things like that, so it's incredible that you have maintained this friendship for so long, since you were 4?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't like BFFs, and we didn't hang out all the time.
And I don't know what a BFF is.
A best friend forever.
Okay.
But we certainly are now. But his dad invited me to his birthday parties, so we go to his birthday party every year, and over the summer we went to the movies together, and I mean, we just hang out. Like, he's just another friend.
Now, you've gotten involved, and I'm going to kind of aim down here a little bit. Tell me about the T-shirt.
This is a T-shirt that I got whenever I volunteered at Special Olympics in 2011.
Always use both hands, one for yourself, one for others.
Yes.
What does that mean?
I think it means that, I mean, you obviously have to do things for yourself, but everyone always needs help. There's always somebody that needs help, and I mean, obviously special needs children are always going to need help, and I think that's kind of what the shirt means. But also, they're helping us, because I think Zach got a shirt like this too, and I mean, he's certainly impacted my life so much.
Just people with some challenges.
Exactly.
Zach's dad, he cried.
When I asked him to prom, yes, he is a big man. He's kind of intimidating until he opens his mouth and you're like, oh my gosh, giant teddy bear. He is the greatest man. He is the best father Zach could have ever asked for, because he would stop the world for that kid. And he's basically raised Zach by himself his entire life, and so amazing.
Did he think this could happen?
Oh, it was his idea. Whenever we went to prom last year, he had an awesome time, and he was like, Zach's going to be prom king. I was like, maybe he should be homecoming king, because it's such an easier play out. Basically, you just walk on the football field, get your crown, go to dance, have an awesome time, and prom is months long. You start in January, and it goes till May. And then, I mean, now that when you're crowned king and queen, you go to the Little Egypt parade, and then you go to prom again next year, and it's just such a more hectic thing. But Brad was so set that no, my son will be prom king, and now he is.
And he turned out to be even more than you thought he could be. Zach did not make a mistake.
Zach did amazing. He was a pro at everything we did, from the time we walked down the ramp and did his bow, and whenever we did the dance, I was knocking my crown off my head, and I was making weird faces because I was freaking out, and he was smiling the whole time like a champion and blew everyone away, especially me.
Coming down the ramp, was there like you forgot what you were?
Well, Zach, whenever we came out, he was really nervous. I kind of looked over at him, even though I wasn't supposed to, I did. And he just had this look on his face like, oh my gosh, there's so many people here. And so we got to the middle of the floor, and I looked at him, and I was like, okay, bow, and he did. And I forgot what I was supposed to do, so I was like, oh my gosh. But then I finally remembered, and it just went perfectly.
What was the greatest challenge for you learning how to be queen?
I don't think that, I don't know. I don't really think there was a challenge, because I've been going to prom since I was like a baby and watching every year, so it's kind of always been like a dream of mine to be the prom queen, and so I knew how it all played out.
Well, I thought you were going to say the greatest challenge might be not letting your mom step on your dress.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Last year, everybody was like, Zach, don't step on the dress, don't step on the dress. Whatever you do, don't step on anybody's dress because they'll rip. And the night of prom, we haven't even left the house, and my mom steps on my dress and rips the back off. And Zach did not step on my dress once, so.
And I think he sort of mentioned that?
Yes, as soon as she was sewing the back on to my dress, everybody was like, oh my gosh, what happened? And he's like, I didn't do it. So he didn't. It was her.
And your mom came to the rescue then?
Yes.
Sewed it up?
She sewed it up, but then Pam Mossberger, who made my dress, always goes backstage before we go out and bow, and she was stitching me back up right before I went out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's the memory you're going to keep with you?
Probably my favorite part of prom all night was whenever me and Zach were standing in the center of the circle getting ready to dance, and he turned around and waved at all the people. I thought that was the coolest thing, because, I mean, that just showed how much he loves everyone, because he stopped what he was doing just to wave at them all.
What have you learned all these years with Zach?
I don't know, I think that I've just learned that he's just another person. Like I said, to me, he doesn't have anything wrong with him like other people think, and
it's given you a career goal.
Yeah.
A thing to do. Next year, when you come back, are you going to want to give up the crown? Huh?
Nope, unless I get to keep it forever, but in my eyes, I'm always going to be a queen. But that's just because I am treated like one, especially by like my mom and dad and my grandma, and especially Brad Hays treats me like a queen, especially whenever he gives me the boss title on prom night. I am in charge, and that's really cool to be in charge of that, because his dad is always the boss, except for that one night I am.
Special memories.
Yes.
Special time.
Yes.
Do it again?
Absolutely. I wouldn't change one thing.
And now you've got to show the other kids it can work. It's almost like a Disney dream, a Disney movie. Am I far off on that?
I love Disney movies. I always wanted to be Cinderella at Disney World.
Well, on the scene in rural Salem, for the Times Commoner television, looking at a crown she's not going to give up very easily. I'm John Scattergood.